Would you state your complete name for the record? Bobby Ray Brand. Okay. And where do you live, Mr. Brand? 3036 Hula Drive, Mesquite. Mr. Brand, my name is Paul Pierce, and I'm an assistant city attorney with the City of Dallas, and I'm representing the City of Dallas in this lawsuit that your mother has filed against us. Do you understand that? Yes. And the other gentleman here is Mr. White. He's representing your mother in that lawsuit. Do you understand that? Yes. Have you ever had your deposition taken before? Yes. So you understand that your answers that you're giving to the questions being asked are given under oath, just as though you are in a courtroom? Yes. If I ask you any questions and you don't understand what I am asking you, will you please ask me to stop and clarify myself? Yes. You're going to have to give an oral response to all the questions. All right, sir. If you don't understand me, would you ask me to clarify myself? Yes. And like I said, if you would speak up and give an oral response so that the court reporter can take down everything you say, okay? All right. You're the son of Eula May Brand? Yes. And you're aware of the lawsuit that she's filed against the city, aren't you? Yes. And you work with Brand Produce? Yes. How long have you worked with Brand Produce Company? I work for them as partners. You are a partner in the company? With my mother. And how many years have you been a partner in that company? 3. Did you work for the company before you became a partner? No, I was on my own. Okay, now Brand Produce Company, they operate out of Dallas at the farmer's market, don't they? Right. Is that a pretty busy place year-round? In the winter, it's slow. When it's cold, people don't like to come out. Okay, now operating down there, are you confined to one location, or do you have various locations? Various locations. And how often do you change locations? When the city decides they don't like where we are at. About on an average, how long do you have a stall down there before you change to a different stall? In the winter, we keep our stalls, but in the summer, they change them week by week. So for the winter months, you might be at the same stall for 4 or 5 months. Yes, during the winter. And in the summer, it could change week to week. Yes. Now, your mother has filed this lawsuit as a result of a fall that she had down there at the farmer's market, hasn't she? Right. Did you witness that fall? Yes. Where did that occur? Well, it's called shed number 2 at the end of it. And hardwood comes right there, and the shed is right here. We had a tent there on the end. Shed number 2. Would it have been on the west end of shed number 2? Yes. And as I understand those sheds, there are stalls on both the left and right if I were facing that shed facing east. But you would have been on the left or right-hand side? Facing this way, it would have been on the left, but I wasn't under the shed. They had stalls on the outside of the shed there. So you would have been on the left-hand side of the shed, but you weren't actually under the shed, is that correct? Right. You were out on that area between the sidewalk and shed? Yes. I believe you had a tent set up? Yes, I had a tent set up. Did you have produce that was set for display between the shed and the sidewalk, and between the sidewalk and the curb at the street? Nothing between the sidewalk and the curb of the street, but between the sidewalk and the shed, yes. And people walk past your shed, I assume, or your tent? Yes. On the hardwood side, or as they are walking out from under the shed? Right. How long had you been at that location at the time of this fall? About 3 months. Okay. So sometime in September you had been assigned that place? Yes. Now, your 3 years down there at Brand Produce, had you ever been assigned to that spot before? No. That's the first time that you're aware of you being assigned to that spot? No, I take that back. They let me set up there one time, and they made me take it down. They didn't let me stay there, and they didn't let me set it up again. Other than this time, how long had you been set up there the previous times you just referred to? About 3 months then, and about 3 months this last time. Okay, so I'm just talking about before the fall. Okay. Before the fall, you had been set up about 3 months there? Right. Now, before that, had you ever been set up there before? Yes. About 3 months at a time, too? A year before. So, a year before, you had been there approximately 3 months also? 2 to 3 months. Was the setup about the same? The tent with the produce from the shed out to the sidewalk? Say that over again. The way you had set up your produce, was it about the same both times? Did you have a tent with your produce being displayed from the shed out to the sidewalk? You mean like this here is a shed and my tent is here? I only had produce under the tent inside. Did the tent go all the way out to the edge of the sidewalk? Yes. Is that a very good spot there? Yes. They won't let you stay there. other people get jealous of you. Do a lot of people buy there at those corner places? Yes. Prior to this fall that your mother had you noticed any people, customers, people at work there that were having problems with their footing in this particular area? Terrible. I had gone over there several times and asked them to fix it because customers were tripping over it. Who did you ask? Jean Clay, one of the market administrators or whoever was in there at the time. Jean Clay? Yes. And when was the first time you asked him? When I had it open the first time. That would have been a year before this fall? Yes. And what specifically did you ask him to do? I told him about the customers walking by there would stump their toe and nearly fall. Even dealers walking by there would stump their toe and nearly fall. Who else did you talk to besides Jean Clay? A man named John Tanner and Arnold Garza. Conversations you had with them the year before this fall your mother had? Some of them. Some of them the second time I opened it. Okay, but they were all prior to this fall that your mother had? Yes. All right.